Okay, so this sketchbook was started in 2015 and finished in 2017 because I'm slow at filling up sketchbooks, so that's why. Um, I have a lot of figure drawings in here, faces. I like drawing people, so a lot of sketches. And then Damien, because he's my favorite superhero. You'll see him a lot in here. This was drawn when Robin Williams died, and this is a random lady I googled. This guy I drew in Dunkin' Donuts. I was just sitting there drawing people. I didn't finish it because he kept staring at me. I think he could tell I was drawing him, so it's like half finished. His chair is only half there. Damien again. Space. This is probably one of the more recent ones in here. I tend to fill up sketchbooks like out of order because starting a new sketchbook's really intimidating. So I just start on a random page and then I'll sketch on like different stuff, like different pieces of paper, and then glue them in. This is a drawing that I did for my printmaking class. I did an etching with it. It's Westminster Abbey. And then I was practicing hands, like a more cartoony version of a hand, because I love cartoons and I love comic books, but I'm very bad at drawing in a stylized, like non-realistic way, I guess. I tend to lean more towards realism, and I'm very bad at like coming up with like cartoony legs and like doing a cartoon style version of facial features. So you'll see a lot of here is me trying to figure it out, which I kind of ended up giving up on it, but it's a lot of like stylized stuff in here because I was trying to figure out my style, and I was also trying to figure out a way that I could do comic style drawings, but I never really stuck with it. Like, this is a style that I drew in for a while that you'll see throughout the sketchbook. These are both from a Rocket Raccoon comic. It was from one of the covers, I think, and I can't remember the artist, but I like just loved the style, so I tried giving it a go. This is for another piece from my printmaking class. This I got bored and cut up paper and dyed it and then glued it in. This is a really old self-portrait. Merida, again in that style that I drew in for so long. I really love this style, but it's just not me. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like when you try to force a style, you can tell very easily. And I find that like the way I naturally draw, I just have to really embrace it and then figure out ways to change it in order to make me happy with how it was styled. But I don't know, I really enjoyed this style for like fast, quick drawings, just little sketches. This is a drawing for a poem that's called A Letter from Cancer, and if you haven't heard that poem, look it up on YouTube. It's really excellent, and the guy that performs it is phenomenal. And I just figured drawing a little monster dude was fitting for that poem. this is from a little project that I was gonna do, but I never actually finished it. Is Bruce Wayne as a child when he loses his parents, and then this was gonna be Dick Grayson as a child when he loses his parents, and I was gonna go through all of them losing their parents because, you know, why not torture your favorite characters, yeah? This is a picture of a girl that I think I still follow on Instagram, and she posts, I was looking through photographs just wanting to draw someone random, and I just loved this picture, so I gave it a shot. This is, I think, Pearl, and I don't remember what her name's from, Steven's Universe. I don't watch Steven Universe. I just asked a bunch of people on my Tumblr what I should draw, and one of them told me to draw characters from Steven Universe, so I did. You'll see a couple more drawings in here from requests that I got. This is Gavin Free. He's from the Slow Mo Guys and Rooster Teeth, Achievement Hunter. I don't know, that's one of the channels I watch most on YouTube, so I figured I'd draw him and his funky little nose. There's more of that style, but I did it in ink. This was like the very beginning of me trying to work with inks, so they are quite messy and not well controlled, but you know, gave it a try. More of that. This was another request I got, was oh god, I can't remember his name. This was a random doodle. I don't think I used any kind of reference image for this. I think it was just doodling out of my head. And then more sketches of random people. This is another character. I can't remember what it was from, but it was another request I got on Tumblr, so I don't know like anything about this character at all. Another self-portrait. Merida and Ursula in that style that I was using. And then you'll see a couple of these type of drawings in here too. I really love looking at like fashion and fashion photography, so whenever I see like a really cool outfit, I just try to sketch it out. Normally what I do is I will put down color really quickly first, and then I will draw over it with a micron pen, and so it's a really fun way to just do fast, quick sketches, but also I don't know, I really like the flow of them. This is, I was drawing scary faces for a project I worked on, and the project I actually just finished like a couple weeks ago, I think. But I was just looking around for references for scary photographs, scary like facial features, and figuring out how to manipulate the face in a way that was kind of terrifying, but also not overly detailed. These were a project that I was doing. I can't remember what that website's called, but there's a website basically where a bunch of artists and like animators post like a snippet of their work, and then you can go and basically add on to their work. So like I was going to animate this character that someone came up with in different poses, and then I was drawing from a reference photograph on there for this person, but I never ended up finishing it because I'm bad at finishing things. Then here's a whole page of Damian Wayne because he's the greatest, and you know, and a cat because he loves animals. 10 out of 10 character. Would recommend. This was done so long ago, and I was trying to use the toned paper, but I don't know. I don't like how it ended up turning out. I ended up manipulating it in Photoshop, and I don't even know where that file went, but this was just like a little girl looking up at, I think it was supposed to be fireflies that were flying around her, but I don't know. I never got the effect I wanted on it. And this, I was just playing around with inks, and so I just got a sad little ghost dude hanging out by himself in the dark. And then these were also from my printmaking class, but I never went through with making this print because my teacher came over and she was like, "Oh, you're drawing a little cowgirl." And I was like, "No, I'm not. It's not a cowboy hat. It's like a sun hat." So I just scrapped this picture altogether, but I even went pretty far with it because we had to basically do 2 pictures and then put them together in a print. But I never finished that. This is Wednesday Addams. I think she's in here some more too, but I love her. She's the queen, so I drew her some. And this was also me kind of working out that project from this. So this is supposed to be like top of a head, and all of these are like little demon creatures coming out, and they were going to have faces on them. And I ended up doing it digitally. And these are quick little doodles. We've got Sia, we've got Merida, we've got Wednesday, and then we've got Moana, and then a random eye over here. And then this is the print that I actually ended up doing. It's a pit bull with some little chickens hanging out with him. And then this is Jeff Ramsey, also from the Achievement Hunter Rooster Teeth squad, I guess. And then I didn't do him very good. And then I got a bunch of random like little pose drawings. This one I was just warming up. And then these are some like little like retro fashion drawings. And more faces, more Damian Wayne. And then on this side, I was watching, what's it called? Iron Giant. And then I was just looking at how he did faces and trying to replicate them somewhat in that same style. I think this one is more successful than this one was, and this one I don't even know what's going on up there. And then more Damian Wayne faces, and more trying to draw in that style. And then this was just a random sketch. If you like drawing people, I would totally recommend the app called Sketchy. It's SKTCHY, and basically what you do on there is people upload their own photos of themselves as inspiration, and you can pick that photo and draw from that photograph and then upload it. And they have a cool feature where you can you'll see the picture that someone's drew, and you swipe right and you can see the photograph that inspired them. It's a really neat app, and I'm surprised I don't hear people talk about it more. This, I was just practicing doing like the same character with different features. I don't know. And then I colored it in for some reason. And then more Damian Wayne because, you know, I'm obsessed sometimes. And then more Wednesday Addams. I really love how these turned out. And then this was another like fashion photograph. Someone in a bathing suit that I just sketched really quickly. This was just a like an abstract kind of drawing that I was bored. I wanted to draw something, but I didn't want to like put too much time and work into it, so I just kind of did little waves. this was, I was trying to sketch poses. I like how this one turned out. I'm not a fan about how this one turned out. And then this is where I kind of start to find more of my style. I really love like color blocking and working with like limited palettes and just trying to, I don't know, figure out how to suggest a face with as little detail as possible, I guess. And then they're like medieval outfits, I guess. I was on an app that like suggests what to draw, and I drew those. This was just a little me playing around with inks, and then I never did anything with it. This is again more color blocking, and then I just colored in like the parts that were bled through to this side. This, you know how when you're working on something and you're like, oh, this is turning out great, and then you look at it after you're done, you're like, wow, this is shit. Yeah, that's kind of what happened here. This, I think, is one of my favorite pieces in my sketchbook. I love the colors that are used, and I would love to make a print of this someday. But I love how her lips turned out, and I just love how her bangs completely cover her eyes. And all of these faces you see in here are people that, like, I found on that app Sketchy. And this is from, this is Goliath from, oh god, what's the comic called? Robin, Son of Batman, I think, is what it's called. And he has a little, like, bat creature type thing called Goliath. So this is from the actual, like, comic, and then I was trying to figure out, like, his facial features as well right here. This, I was watching a music video and, like, just gesture drawing the dancers in it. It was a fun, like, quick exercise to do if you ever have a music video or something, or a dance video that you really love the movement that's happening. Like, I loved, because they had basically like twins that were dancing, and it was really cool. This, I went a little crazy with the texture, mostly because I was unhappy with how it looked, and then I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna add more shit to it. This is a sketch of my bathtub from in my bathtub, and this is a naked person. You know, gotta have naked people. Then more Damian Wayne, and then this is Gavin Free again. And then this is Goliath again. I think this one is from the actual comic book, and then this one is me trying to figure out a side view. I like these more than I like the last ones I did. And then me just drawing dogs. My favorite dogs are pit bulls, if you can't tell. And then these are just like little thumbnail sketches of a collab that I was working on and then never finished because I'm awful. And I was gonna do all the whole alphabet in sign language, but I only got so far. This, you can tell this was a part of me figuring out that collab, but then this part gave me the idea for the project I worked on earlier. And then I love this picture. I just really like the the pose of it, and I like all the detail I put in the dress, and I like the different line weights. This was another person on Tumblr. I just thought the pose was really great and all the shadows were really great, so I drew it. This is a random person. This is, oh, I can't remember what her name is, but she's from that show Hannibal. It was my favorite show. And then I don't know why there's a random smiley face up there, but there is. And then this is another fashion drawing where I put in the color first and then I drew over it in pencil to kind of put a shape to it. And another dog. This was, oh god, what's it? Black Canary. This was from like a little Sketchy will sometimes have like little, I wouldn't call them like contests, but like little prompts basically, and this one was for tips, so people were like drawing stuff and then giving a specific tip of like how they work in their drawings and how they work through their drawings. So this was mine, and I actually got featured on there, which was pretty awesome. And these are more like little sketches. I love this one. Damian Wayne, kind of random person, which I just realized right now, it just looks like a mask of a person put on a head, which is kind of creepy. This is a random person from Sketchy as well. This is, oh god, what's her name? From Hunger Games? I don't know. I'm bad at remembering names. And this, I really love how this worked. I think I did it in watercolor. It might have been gouache, though. I'm not sure. And then a skull, a hand, because you gotta practice those. Merida, because I love Merida. A random fashion sketch thing. And then another, what's her name? From Hannibal. And then this is from, I was sitting in, waiting for class and just drawing random people that were sitting by the window. And this is probably one of my favorite things I've done. I've never done a draw it again type challenge, but I'm glad I did, because you can really tell the improvement. This one, especially over 2 years, which is really impressive. This one I did in Copic markers, and this one I did in gouache. And then here's another self-portrait. The thing I like about sketchbooks, especially sketchbooks that are drawn out over time, is you can really see the improvement in them. And even in mine, where like nothing's really in an order, you can kind of tell which ones are more recent and which ones are from a while ago. And this is another one of those where I put down color and then drew over it. I really love doing those, they're fun. And this is part of a self-portrait, and then this is a random eye. And this is another one that I'd love to make a print of someday. I just like the colors in it. Gavin Free again, because I draw the same things over and over again. And these are more of me attempting to do a cartoon style. And I actually like how these turns out, especially this one. This one, I love this one. And this is more color blocking, which I really like to do. Another self-portrait, another style kind of portrait. This, I was really angry, so I just drew a bunch of lines. This one, my marker was running out, so I didn't really get to put in the detail that I wanted to. This, I can't remember what this is from. I think this is another one from Sketchy. And then my pill bottle, because I have a ton of pill bottles, so I draw them all the time. And this is a bunch of eyes, which I love. I did them in different media. So these are just pencil and micron. This is watercolor and this is gouache. And then I love the colors on this girl right here. And this is something I'm hopefully going to be finishing at some point, because I just have had this idea in my head for a long time, and I just can't kind of get the poses that I want, and I don't know how I'm going to execute it really. And then I love this. I love like creepy things. So people with their eyes rolled back and stuff like that, like I'm all about it. This is more pill bottles done in gouache. This is a portrait did in Copic. A lot of these portraits were done with Copics or the Faber-Castell markers. This is a random person smoking. This is kind of the first time I really explored doing like lines like this instead of trying to fully make it look like smoke. This person is a random one from Sketchy. And then this is Finn from, oh god, from Star Wars, yeah. Because this was right after I saw that movie, and he's my favorite character from that movie, so I had to draw him. Another random portrait. You can tell I love drawing people. This is another portrait where I really, I don't know, I kind of started to figure out my style with these kind of portraits. And this one, because I love color, but I also love like really fine lines, and I love drawing people, so I like to find all the shapes I can in the shadows and then just draw those shapes, and it really helps bring the face together instead of just having to put features in places. And it's, I don't know, it helps with placement of features as well, I guess, at least for me. These are awful pages where I was trying to do comics, but I'm bad at comics, so I gave up. And another random portrait, another random portrait, another random portrait. What are they called? The Plague Doctors. I drew one of them, because why not? A person, this is another part of that project that I want to finish at some point. It was me trying out poses, and I think this is the pose I'm probably going to go with for it. This is the first time I really used watercolors, and you could tell this is really the first time I started doing that color blocking style. It's one of my favorites in here. I think it turned out really well. Random hand coming out of the ground. A random portrait that I don't like how it turned out. And then I love this page. I just like the color, and I like pasting things in and drawing over them. It, I don't know, adds interest for me. And this is some random person on Sketchy again. Another portrait I was practicing profile view. And then this is another part where you can tell where I'm trying to figure out my style, and I'm starting to figure out that I like to do the hair this way. But I really liked the minimal color in this. I think it's really neat. And then this is a random person, I think. This I actually drew so long ago. This is probably from one of my very first sketchbooks from when I was in high school. It was, we had to draw something on the first page, and this is what I drew, and I like to keep it in my more recent sketchbooks because, I don't know, I think it's fun to bring something old along. This one This one, when I drew it, I actually wasn't a fan of how it turned out, but I don't know. It's been growing on me every time I've looked at it since, so I like the purple lips. This person is actually the same as this person. They were just two different photos, and I just, like, I don't know, I loved her facial features, and she had really red cheeks and a nose, and I just thought it was interesting to draw. And then this is the Iron Giant. This is from a bigger piece of paper that I never finished, so I cut it up and put it in here. And this is actually the last page in here. A random dude that I drew. I think he's from Sketchy too. And then later on, I actually colored him in. And then this, I was just testing art supplies. Yep, so that is my sketchbook.